What's up, guys? Welcome to the One Realm Podcast. I'm your host, Diego, alongside my co-host, Thomas. Of the podcast, or like my actual name, or in your actual name? Yeah, it's happened to me multiple occasions. As you know, if you go back to some of our older podcasts, I've messed up the name quite a few times. I think a couple times I've actually left it in there, too. It happens. Especially because between, it tends to be, weeks/months between episodes. So it can get confusing at times. Yeah, and last week because I was really really sick. So, but we're good this time, and we have a few things ready in the pipe. We already have a few topics we're gonna be covering over the next couple of weeks. So we should be good for a while now at least. Anyway, so well, as long as we can go, I guess let's just enjoy it while it lasts. Yeah. Anyway, so going into what, as you can see from the top, from the title of the video or the podcast, we're going to be talking about something that we've postponed for a while now, which is our ideal MK12. I think there's plenty we can go off of, and based on what we saw in the story, or I guess not really, because who knows what the fuck. But these are just kind of what we want. It's not necessarily what we think will happen, but just what we want. So I guess if you want to go ahead and start off with some of your characters. I think the way we're gonna do this is gonna be, we'll talk about the roster first, then the story, then offline modes, online modes, and the crypt, and then any other closing ideas we have. So I guess starting off with the sorry. Okay. All right. That's fair. Don't want. We'll list that right there, and we can wrap it up with some of the yeah. All right, so starting off with the roster, what kind of size are you looking at? Pause, and and who would you like to see in there?
I know from first glance it sounds terrible, but I'm saying at least 30 to 40.
30 to 40. Okay, yeah, I
Yeah.
think that's pretty fair.
The reason why I say that too, that's pretty much it's a well, if I say 40, that's two-thirds of what Armageddon was, and I can get more into that on the story aspect what I want from it. But I think if you were gonna do that, if we did like a 30 to 40 roster, you can finally do the justice that everyone wants with certain characters. Or see, like, that's the thing, like, we talked about how the old timeline has really good stories. Some people just want to see those play out in an actual script and see how it happened. But who I would like to see ideal will be in, like, Frost and Sub-Zero, Behind Scorpion, well, new side, I guess. Reiko, 'cause I wanted to see that guy get his for a long time. Who else? Obviously, the MK1 cast, because they're going to be there regardless, so
Hmm.
I have to get comfortable.
Yeah, especially because you would think Liu Kang would be running it, so all his friends would be in there, and his foes, I guess.
But hell, even if they did like like they did the whole like merging of timelines again, you can even throw Breaking Out in there as well. But I'm just my whole obviously people like sing song is definitely a big one you have to have in there. Chameleon, Reptile. It's kind of like it's a lot of people just like think of all at once who you want on there, but it's just like stories that you don't get to see play out because they don't get their their chance to shine ever. When you look at Baraka, we used to all shit on him for years, for 2 decades really, and he finally got his. He doesn't have to be playable in the story mode. You just gotta make him look good and play good.
Yeah, I mean, I agree with you 100% there. It's like, yeah, I think I can. We'll kind of just give our opinions running off each other instead of like each one taking their turn, something like that. We'll just kind of, roll with it. And I agree with you 100%. Like, I think the biggest thing is I don't think anybody really wants to see MK1 retold for the however manyth time. We want to see
Let's see,
something different. Yeah, it's
we
like,
have MK1, we have 9, we have the first movie.
yeah. We have, Shaolin Monks, which is kind of running off of MK1. So we've seen the same stories told time and time again. So yeah, definitely like want to see new storylines, a timeline that we haven't quite seen yet, and like not just in terms of like oh look, this is what's happening in MK1, but in an alternate universe. No, we want to see completely different stuff and see how, like you said, specific characters are evolving in different scenarios. So absolutely, 100%, I agree with you there. When it comes to the characters themselves, I think I pretty much agree with you. Of course, MK1's roster will be in there, but at the end of the day, that's only 6 characters, so I mean it kind of makes sense. And 7 if you count if you count Shang. I guess 8 if you count
7 in general.
Was it?
Liu Kang. Hold on, let me do it. Kano, Johnny Cage, Raiden, Liu Kang, Sonya. I already screwed this up.
Yeah.
Sub-Zero, Scorpion. That's 7.
Okay, yeah, fair play. All right, my math is trash. It's always been. I can't even count to 7. You caught me. Anyway, so 7 characters. I think that's pretty much those 7 will be in there no matter what. But I want to see Fujin. I want to see Rain. I want to see, like you said, the Chameleons. I want to see a lot of these characters that have not been given their opportunity. And most importantly, I want to see the return of a bunch of 3D era characters. Like you said, Reiko is another one that absolutely needs to be in there and has so much potential. And with, actual good storytelling, he could make sense as a powerful figure to kind of replace Shao Kahn in the story, that we don't have the same villains constantly. Have him maybe have an upgrade, something like that. Make him more powerful than we've ever seen him before, things of that nature. I want to see a lot more of, I'm not going to say Suhao or Dairu or something like that, but if you can find a cool way to implement them and actually make them good, go for it. Like, we've seen what they did with Baraka, who was a joke character for a while now. We saw what they did with a bunch of people. So they haven't fixed Jackie, even though they tried, but they can do something with some of these characters, given the right amount of time, the right amount of I guess you could say the right storytellers. And like you said, they don't have to be playable in the story mode for them to be good characters. They just have to be fun to play as, look good, and actually, just kind of be used and implemented the right way. So a lot of these, untold stories and a lot of the characters that haven't gotten their shine, that's what I think we need to see from the roster.
Yeah. But on story though too, like for example, I want to see it from all angles. Let's see how the good guys. We just want to see the good guys win, and that's the whole point of the story, really.
Yeah.
But hell, I was just watching one TV show that I remember to point out that all the better sequels, the bad guys sometimes win. So I kind of want to go back to like Deadly Alliance, where the bad guys actually they set out to do something and they actually did it.
Yeah, it makes things more tense, and it makes you like, holy shit, what's gonna happen in the next one, as opposed to
this whole thing.
Exactly, as opposed to everybody's just constantly winning. Like, imagine Infinity War if it hadn't ended, spoiler alert, with Thanos winning. Imagine if they had the Avengers winning in the first movie. The build up to Endgame was absolutely immense. I didn't end up liking the movie that much, but the build up to it was immense. Imagine if something like that happened again in Mortal Kombat now that it's booming the way it is. It's not necessarily the best they've ever done, but, it is the most popular it's ever been. And if they could come out there guns blazing with a good game and with a story like that where something really unexpected happens in, a way that like really leaves you hyped up for the next game, that could really, really push them to make even more sales. It's just, what are they going to do? Are they going to play it safe and make the easy money? Or are they going to try to do something that's a bit more risky? Don't have any faith in Warner Brothers, but I guess that's not really what matters in this video. It's more what we want to see. And I think we both kind of agree. We would like to see a bit more a bit more out of the box ideas coming from them instead of the same, oh, Liu Kang wins, or, out of, yeah, oh, Cassie out of the blue is a goddess, all this type of stuff. So, make it more, yeah, make it like you said, make it feel like there's actual stakes in this, something's actually at risk.
Yeah. Well, like for example, what we want to see is, for example, like Shao Kahn has been the big bad since 1993, really, and you tell me he has not been able to win this whole tournament in about 20 years now, in our eyes, 25 years.
Exactly. It gets to the point where they're just kind of, making their own big bads look a bit softer. You know what I mean? Make them look less powerful. He keeps on getting consistently beaten.
Well, not in that though, too. Like the how can I say this? It would be better if, like, hell, look at this. Same song, Quan Chi killed Liu Kang with ease.
Mm-hmm.
Not with ease, but still, like, they did what he couldn't do, and he's killed massacred multiple people, billions and millions of people. And you're saying two people can finally, they just jump them, that they can win.
Yeah, like as if they haven't tried that before. Same characters
Exactly.
And everything.
So tell me, in 500 years, no, over 1,000 years, because Goro was the champion for 500 years.
Yeah.
No one thought about, hey, the next time we do this, let's jump this fucker.
Nope, doesn't work that way. Nope. But two.
Yeah, you broke the rules, but if you keep taking out their best people, then yeah, you're good.
Pretty much. Yeah. Yeah, it doesn't really make a lot of sense, but I guess what really does nowadays, in Mortal Kombat. But one thing I do want to say, like, what I want to see, like, desperately want to see for the first, the next story mode is I want it to go back to being a free roam type of thing, like in Mortal Kombat Deception. Now, and have it be, of course, actually well written, but like you said, show both sides. So maybe have, different moments where maybe we're using, like, I don't know, the chosen one. This is just kind of a spitball idea. I just had it right now. Like, maybe have, the best fighter that the bad side has to offer, the best fighter the good side has to offer, and have them, show their development and what happens leading up to them going to the tournament, and then have them actually go, you play through them going to the tournament, and then at the end, you can kind of like pull off a Star Wars, what was the name of the game? The first one on the Xbox 360, Star Wars, not the Force, was it the Force Unleashed? Yeah, it was Star Wars The Force Unleashed, where, okay. Where you kind of choose at the end, if you want to be good or bad. You know what I mean? Like, you want to have the good side win, you want to have the bad side win. I think that would kind of be a cool idea. But give us an option to really explore the realms, but have a bit more of a personal impact on what happens to the story.
I agree.
Like, I don't know how good the whole champion of one side versus champion, and being one side of the story and the champion of the other side being, I don't know how good of an idea that is necessarily, and what you can really do with that, but, just kind of vaguely give us the option to explore both sides. And if you look at how gaming is going in pretty much every other genre right now, except for the fighting game genre, a lot of it is based on personal experiences. Like, I have my own experience with the game, you have your own experience. Yes, a lot of it, a lot of the games are also linear, like God of War and stuff like that. It's pretty much all linear, but there's a lot more, this happened in mine, that happened on yours. Like Red Dead Redemption, for example, depending on what you do, there's so many different endings. Same thing with, Bethesda games back before they were shit. That's what gaming is. It's experiencing a game your own way. I think that if they can find a way to do that in Mortal Kombat, and this could be a potential way to do it, it would only serve us players who have been playing it for so long and have been loyal to the ups and downs to really have our own touch on it, despite it being a bit, linear, in the sense that it's it is what it is up until you get to to make the final decision.
Well, that's what I'm saying too. Like multiple endings, no one knows what the. If you have multiple endings, no one knows what the right ending is. So it's like, all right, so we will have to wait till the next game to find out. That's more intrigue.
Yeah.
That's more intriguing to me.
Exactly. So many different options. Like, who knows? Maybe like in Mass Effect 2, for example, where you have so many things you can do. This people, if you do that, he can die. All that type of stuff. Who knows? I mean, like maybe in my timeline, Scorpion's dead. Maybe in your timeline, Sub-Zero is dead. Stuff like that. You have these decisions where you choose who you to save and stuff like that, and it actually has a lasting impact moving forward. I think that would be, that'd be pretty cool. Pretty much all games have it nowadays, except for
just wait it out and see what everyone likes best.
Yeah, that could be something too.
Sub-Zero died, people like seeing Scorpion die.
Yeah, I mean, even in like Telltale games, have you ever played any of those? The Telltale like Walking Dead and stuff. Well, they're actually pretty decent. And at the end of each episode, they give you stats like, oh look, in 65% of people's games, Bruce Wayne died or something like that, just to give you an example off the top of my head. So there are plenty of games that do already do that, and it's not like it would be out of this realm. And if they want to go a more linear route like they've already been doing, that's fine. But just give us something that really make it feel like it's our game instead of
there is things like this change. If you do this, it will do this. This will happen. That's what I thought MKX was gonna be, but all it was just a quick time event and changed the look of a fight.
Exactly. Yeah, but I don't know. I feel like if they can give us either, a lot more, personalization of what happens in the game, in the actual story, I would be happy. It doesn't have to necessarily be open world, or at least a quasi open world, kind of like in how you could say in like Deception or God of War, where you have that sense of that it's actually open, but really it's kind of linear. But you can explore, kind of like even like a Dark Souls type of thing, but not necessarily Souls-esque. I think that would be good, but if it isn't like that, at least give us, something to really make it, to differentiate my experience from yours and stuff like that. Give us a reason to go replay it. You know what I mean? Like, honestly, how many times have you played the story of MK11?
3 times, and that's only because other people haven't played before.
Okay, so you were playing with other people.
Yeah.
Okay, that's so. More than anything, they were playing it for the first time, and you were just kind of there with them, assisting them.
Yeah.
Okay, so I guess like on your own, like just by yourself, you haven't replayed it, correct?
Not really.
Okay, I've also played it 0 times after completing it the first one. So there is literally, in my opinion, no replay value in there. The only reason that I would play the story mode right now is if my girlfriend decided she wanted to play it, but that's not going to happen, or at least it hasn't so far, and I don't see why that would happen about a year after the games come out. So there's literally no replay value for me, who is a diehard fan of the story. There's basically no replay value for you, who is a really, really deep, fan of the story. So it's just, there's nothing there. So it's, yeah, give us a reason to go back and play it again and again and again, See what happens if you do this instead of doing that. Give us different options.
Well, for example, what I would say, though, would be, even if they were to use the whole timeline thing, like let's merge everything together, that can happen. It doesn't have to be old timeline versus new timeline. It can literally just be everything collapsing on itself like it did in this game, but to a more effective level, though. Like, literally, let's pluck people from MK2 of this universe, sort of, we don't know still, and then put them brought them forward to the present.
Yeah, that's an option.
What they could have done that made it a lot better is like there were stakes. Like I said, I don't think you've been know this before, but you don't watch the Arrow shows, right? Like
no,
Arrow,
I don't. No.
Yeah. Well, like I mentioned in the last one, they just recently did their podcast. They just did their big crossover on Crisis of Infinite Earths, which is a huge storyline in DC universe.
Yeah.
But they pull people from all different walks of life. Well, not really, but they show people from all different walks of life. How about that? So you have in the crossover, you get the spoiler alerts who haven't watched that yet, but you have Tom Welling from Smallville make a cameo there. You have Brandon Routh, the last Superman they had, not the current one, the one before that, the Return of Superman.
Okay.
You have him making a cameo as Superman on the show.
Oh yeah, I saw that. I did see that.
Yeah, so you have like multiple things happening. You even have the voice of Batman playing Bruce Wayne.
Really?
An older Bruce Wayne, yes.
So you mean like
that's never been done.
Kevin Conroy?
Yeah.
Okay, sweet.
So you have all of that. I'm saying like, now granted, they not a lot of them played a huge role in the crossover, but it's just like you could pull the Great Kung Lao, brought him in, and especially doing like there's multiple timelines where multiple things have happened. So you're saying in none of those timelines, you would have seen the purpose of bringing, and so make a lot of Melina's fans happy, but bring Melina in, who's unhinged, yes, but you can bring. There's so many timelines. You can find out a timeline where she's actually a good empress. Not good, but better than the ones we've been given before, who's not acting like a child.
Yeah, that's actually a pretty interesting idea. I never thought about that, but that's a solid idea. Yeah.
Well, then the whole point of timelines and multiverse is that there's infinite ideals, so no one has to play by the status quo. Like you can do all these things that you. Like I said, I want to see this character in this light, which is what the whole game was supposed to be about too. But it didn't go that route. Instead, it just went, oh, here's people from MK2. And some people from the current timeline have fell back in their old ways, Jax. So my whole thing is, we could have used so many other people. Like Frost, what was her whole point in there?
She was just kind of there.
Yeah.
She brought back
the Cyber Initiative, but that was never. I'm okay with that. That's something new, something fresh.
Yeah. Yeah, they should just build on stuff like that. Yeah, that's a solid idea. Like, like you said, man. Like the whole idea behind multiverses is anything can happen in a different universe. Like Melina doesn't have to be bad in a different in an upcoming game. She could be good. So we could see a bunch of different stuff happen.
Could be a benevolent king.
Exactly, man. There could be so many different things. Like maybe, yeah, the reason he conquered Adenia was because Jared was, he was what he was. He was a dick or something like that. They could make him, they could make Jared the bad guy, Shao Kahn the good guy, stuff like that. They could do so many different things. Yeah, like if you want to bring back some of these characters that have been played out, yeah, change, like do a fucking heel turn. I don't know. Just go straight up WWE with some of these characters. Yeah, exactly. Who's the Hulk Hogan of Mortal Kombat?
Liu Kang.
Yeah, Liu Kang. Well, I guess he's kind of out of the picture. That's kind of a difficult one. I guess Liu Kang at this point is Vince McMahon. Let's just go with Raiden. Let's just go with fucking Raiden. Well, he's been bad before. Yeah, he's been bad before.
No, let's say Johnny Cage instead.
That's fair. Johnny Cage has never been bad. Yeah, out of the blue, Johnny Cage is. He goes straight heel, and he's just NWO Hulk Hogan. You can do all this type of stuff.
Well, that's what I figured they were going to do a little bit because, well, they're still working with Dark Raiden.
Yeah, we're still waiting to see what Dark Raiden actually is. They tease it constantly. We don't actually see it for more than like 5 minutes. It is what it is, I guess. Like. I mean, I guess it kind of just depends on what direction NetherRealm Studios is going to go next. Are they going to try to, like I said, play it safe? Or are they going to try to make something that we haven't seen before? And if they do try to make something we've never seen before, are they going to be trying to retell, alternate stories of the same characters? Or are they going to introduce a bunch of new characters? Like for you, like would you be interested in seeing new characters introduced to this game, and how many?
I wouldn't mind it, but I feel like it's like Disney right now. they have enough shit right now that they can make something good with that first, and then go do something else. Disney has like around. Disney has so much shit. They even opened up their own platform, and I think they can do shit like that because, well, they're Disney. Their stuff plays out and looks good. Now we have over 70 characters now, I'm pretty sure, and about only 7 to 14 of them get constant screen time.
Yeah, pretty much. Like there's a very very small portion of the roster that actually gets more than I don't know 5 minutes per game, if that.
And you know what? Another thing too, just because I know it's out the box and it's out there, I will be okay. I would have been okay with Sindale's bio and engine if they would have did that with more characters.
Yeah, fair play. Like if they express the fact that it is an alternate type of thing instead of this is just kind of randomly happening.
If they say this is the same, but what they did instead was that, well, this has always been Sindale. She's always been like this. Hell, I think the meme I sent you a couple of weeks ago a couple of months ago actually, on it says the best. Give me one moment, I'll find that.
Mm-hmm.
And then after this, I'll actually tell you what I'm looking for in the story as well.
Okay. Yeah, I mean,
The meme I sent you was the Man Ray and Patrick one. And it says, I'll read it off to you, but it's pretty much Man Ray talking to Patrick and Man Ray Man's lair. But what it is like Man Ray holding a picture saying, "This is Sindel." And Patrick's so we're Man Ray and the NRS writers are Patrick. It's like, this is Sindel. Yep. She is a tragic character who committed suicide out of grief. Her husband was murdered and her kingdom was conquered. Yep. When Kong resurrected her in MK3, Sindel was corrupt. Katana helped her regain her memory, and she turned good. That makes sense to me. Then why did you retcon it? Her outfit doesn't match her personality.
Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, yeah, explain to us why you changed it instead of just kind of changing it and like I said, like I don't know about you, but one of my favorite things in comics, in I guess DC in particular, are their Elseworlds. Like if you don't, I'm assuming you know what an Elseworld is, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, if for those who don't, basically it's alternate storylines that don't have anything to do with the main arcing story that's currently being told in the comics. So one of my favorite Elseworlds is Superman Red Sun, where basically instead of landing on in America, he landed on in Russia. So he becomes basically Putin. You know what I mean? He's the supreme leader of Russia, and his whole thing is, of course, having the Soviet domination over the United States. So if they do something like that, where they make sure going into it that it's not these are the same characters by name and what they kind of look like and stuff like that, but they aren't the same characters in terms of storyline. This is a different timeline. This is a different arc. These are not the characters that we have grown to know what their storyline is and stuff like that. This is a different thing. They have to make sure that's a thing. It can't just be, oh look, Sindel out of the blue is a gold digger. No, there has to be a reason for it, and it has to be
there was
explained.
No warning. That's the problem.
Exactly. That's exactly the right word. A warning.
Ass on this one.
Yeah.
We're looking for an actual story. So regardless of like how we always like how people trash, talk shit on Shawn Monk's story because nothing was accurate at all. they do like the open world concept, like how Deception had, and then you can actually fight like in Shadow Monks or Armageddon. So I like those, but my thing is, I want it to be like how the old stories was written, and you have different point of views for each one. And then at the end, you can put the pieces back together, but there's actually cinematic scenes that go with them. And then I don't want them to collude each other, so occasionally you're going to have to watch your favorite character die in the ending, like how Reptile did. Because Shinnok is now a god of his world, of his word. And all deals are off. But like I say, I don't want to spend like a whole 4 straight fights on Reptile's backstory either. I want to do, alright, Reptile finds out what's going on with his people. He meets up with Chameleon, with the K, and he learns of Chameleon with the C, and they try to take their people, save their people now. Not saying he has to be a hero, but at least try to show his worth to somebody. And also, if I'm being honest, both Chameleons are more worth it than Reptile. But I said, like, do something like Their Life does theirs, and they like have like, all right, here's a character you can play this whole line through, and then you just keep doing it with each character because they have multiple fights and different types of fights you have to go through. And then, like, you put the pieces together, but each ending's different depending on how you played. So if you lost, that's it means something. That person's story's over because they're dead. But you can always retry it and see like how it would play differently.
Mm-hmm.
Then in the end, it's like a completely colluded mess. No one knows what the fuck's real anymore. Like now, that's why I'm doing too much. My point is like show it from all points of view. The villains fight a little bit. Show, I don't know, Reiko trying to take Shao Kahn's throne and overthrow him. Like play those eggs. Do something.
Yeah, like if you don't mind me, and like just kind of throwing my 2 cents in there for a second, like to give you an example, in Fallout 3, you know, there are so many different moments in the game where you take these small subtle decisions, and the ending changes. Now, we don't have to get an ending that is, you know, unequivocally, you know, undisputable for everyone. Like, my ending in Fallout 3 could have absolutely nothing to do with your ending in Fallout 3. And that doesn't mean that my ending is less valid than yours. It's just, or, you know, vice versa. It just means we played the game in a different way. We made different decisions. Like, I personally think it's time for these games to evolve. You know, you can't just have these, you know, 4 hours, if we're lucky, story modes where it's just like, oh, the good guys win pretty much every fight, or as soon as they lose a fight, they immediately, you know, come back and get this huge win. It needs to be a lot deeper than that. Like, imagine if in TV shows, just to kind of give you an example, like, imagine if it's the same thing over and over and over again. And that happens pretty often in shows. But like Game of Thrones, barring the last season or 2 seasons, like, what are the biggest moments that you remember from the Game of Thrones series?
Oh, I didn't watch it.
You didn't watch it? Okay.
No, the only thing about Game of Thrones is from South Park, and that's the Red Wedding.
Yeah, there you go. The biggest thing that happens that people pretty much all remember the most about that series is the Red Wedding, where Robb Stark, his mom, his wife, his baby mama, who was pregnant, they all get murdered. That is a moment that transcends that TV show. Everybody under this fucking sun knows what happened in that scene. In Mortal Kombat, there are none of those moments because, except for, say, Shang Tsung and Quan Chi snapping Liu Kang's neck, because there really are no moments where it's like, wow, that really just happened. That really just happened. You know what I mean?
Tea party.
Sorry, what?
Tea Party scene.
Tea Party? Oh, Sub-Zero. Yeah, I guess fair play. I mean, but like that's
Well,
that's
for
still
all the
positive
fans
though.
who've been waiting for that for years,
Yeah,
for decades, yeah, that meant something.
for sure. Yeah, that's for sure. Yeah, so those two kind of stick out. But other than that, there's really not a crazy amount of stuff. I mean, so yeah, I would just like to see, you know, multiple experiences. So, like I said, it actually gives you a reason to play. I'm not saying copy Fallout 3 and make it an open world, all that type of stuff. I'm saying, you know, implement good ideas from different franchises, from different genres, and do what you did with MK9, where, okay, the story wasn't great, but they still did what other franchises absolutely weren't doing, which was give us a legit story mode. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
If they can do that and they can find a way to revitalize a kind of a stale format, then I think that would be really really huge for the game, and that's what I want to see from story mode. Not necessarily, any like I don't want to see like this story arc in particular. I don't really have an ideal story because there's pretty much anything at this point could happen. Um, but I just want to see story mode itself be revolutionized and be a lot more entertaining and a lot more replayable than we've seen over the past few games.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, anything else you want to say about the story, or shall we move on to some offline modes?
Um, Go ahead and do offline demos. I think we kind of know where this goes every time as well.
Mm. All right, go ahead and start us up with that.
For me, it's like either do the actual challenge tower, like MK9, or start giving us stuff like how we did before. And because everyone loves test your mic, test your sight. Well, test your mic gets boring after a while. But like, motor combat, everyone loves that. Something fun to play without having the stress of being good at something. Really, let's be honest. You don't really be good at a racing game, especially with something like Mario Kart, and literally you get power ups just based on where you hit, what you hit.
Yeah, and catch up is always activated, so even no matter how far back you are, you have advantages. So they aren't really serious modes, but they don't. That's yeah, I agree with you. We don't need serious modes necessarily. We just need things that are really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, like for me personally, like my favorite thing about Mortal Kombat Deception was we had a I'm not gonna say good story, but we had a fun story mode to play in Conquest mode. We had chess, which was an interesting idea. We had puzzle combat, so we had a few things. And if you look at Armageddon, similar type of thing. The game wasn't necessarily great, but if you didn't feel like I was playing it recently, if you don't feel like playing Conquest mode, you have Mortal Kombat. If you don't feel like playing that, you have other options. So it's like there
I
are
mean,
actually
also for example, you can make your own characters, make bullshit people who you like. You just think like, oh, I want to put Beyonce in the game.
exactly.
Oh, I want to put my local senator, my state senator in the game.
Exactly, man. Like that's arguably my favorite thing about say, the UFC game or the old WWE games. Like right now, my brother and I are in the process of playing SmackDown versus Raw from 2004 or 2005, whenever it was it came out. So and usually we make these just atrocious characters and we play through them, and we do some funny shit. But that's that's arguably the best part of all these games. Whether it's 2K, whether it's FIFA, whatever you play. Some of the most fun stuff is having these just crazy looking characters, and Mortal Kombat fits that perfectly because you have you have fucking half dragon, half man. You have all kinds of things you can do, and you can have all kind of weird creatures. You can make up your own species and races and stuff like that. You can do all kinds of stuff. It's perfect for it. So give us something like Mortal Kombat where it's just pure fun. Give us and it's not necessarily competitive unless you're just kind of chilling and laughing and stuff like that. It's not like the super competitive thing. Give us a tower like the challenge tower. Like I really really like that, especially Like, I don't know about you, but when I pop on Mortal Kombat 11, like once every couple months, and
Mm-hmm.
I go and I look, the Towers of Time. Who the fuck wants to play these? Like, I'm assuming you feel the same way, right?
Mostly, like right now, I'm a little okay with more Kombat 11 just because of the fact that they finally put in like the MK2 skins for the girls,
Okay.
which I mean it's fun to like. It's nice to see, but it's like, all right, well, that was nice for a couple of days. I'm done with the game again.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
But no, I
basically.
agree with you on the back on the towers thing. Like the only reason I played the tower consistently for a long period of time was when I was trying to get Johnny Cage's skin. Because there was no other way I was going to really get it unless I actually played it.
Yeah.
And I literally did that all within 2 days, really.
Yeah, pretty much.
So,
Doesn't really make it, you know, like really interesting.
I mean, it was fun. Don't get me wrong. The towers were fun-ish, and then the prize was worth it-ish. But I kind of still like, well, that was alright, I guess. But like, for example, like, I don't feel like they learned from their mistakes, really. I mean, they finally did now. Like, for example, in AK9, if they would have gave us like a voice actor for like a very cool voice actor for the reward, then yeah, that would have been worth it. Not having Melina with toilet paper around her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was stupid. Really stupid.
Yeah,
Yeah. Yeah.
we talked about that in our very first episode. I think we both know everyone knows how we feel about that.
Yeah, pretty much. If you're a recurring listener, then yeah, you do. If not, go listen to the first one. We go into detail about that.
But let's do some butter. If you guys are wondering, I'm cooking while I'm making this podcast.
Yeah. Well.
But I will say this though too. But I mean, the Johnny Cage voice master, that was a good addition. Like, okay, yeah, I like that. That's something worth it to me. I'm getting top 20 of this just so I can get that. It's worth it to me. Not to everyone, but some people would appreciate that. Not just some random skin that makes it, honestly, if you have a computer, you can mod it in.
Yeah, that's something that's really been bothering me. Like, I'll be honest with you, I haven't played the game in a few months. Other than to occasionally play with my girlfriend, just because she really likes beating my ass with Cetrion. Um, and the only other time was I think it was Christmas or the 26th of December. You know, I popped it in just because, like I said, you know, she likes Cetrion, and there was a Cetrion skin that was easy to unlock. So I popped it in, played for 10 minutes, and turned it off. So I mean, like, there's really nothing in those Towers of Times that drive me to want to play it. But the beautiful thing about the Challenge Tower was it was so difficult. It was a legit challenge, and we didn't. Of course, the prize was trash, but the challenge of completing it was something that you could actually talk about and be like, oh, you know, I did this. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not that some random is going to complete. No casuals are going to complete that. That's for real diehard fans. Whereas with the challenge towers, it's just kind of random.
And I get what they're trying to do with these new towers. So it's like, oh, these changes all the time as well. So like we don't want a time limit. I'm okay with just being like how Candy Crush is, where you just keep beating these, and maybe have some like for some prizes for like high markers. So you get to the top 25, you get some source crystals. You get to you get to the 50 mark, you get some souls, fatality tokens. You get stuff along the way, of course, as well, but like you get actual prizes. And once you like get to like 100 or so, it's like, all right, here's unlockable character. Not that obviously wouldn't go that route, but they add stuff along the way. Like the whole thing, like they keep talking about how we want to have this game have replayability. It's like, all right, well, we're still playing the same exact game, seeing the same exact fatalities, same stages. So instead of making people pay for these extra new things, you're probably gonna make them pay for it anyway. Because I think we talked about it last episode, but like I items that are supposed to come out, that's supposed to come out with MK, well, the Kombat Pack 2 is supposed to be Fujin, Shiva, and the Deadpool and Soul Tomb. That's what we're supposed to get.
Mm-hmm.
Which, if we get that, I wouldn't be mad, but it's like, I'm pretty sure we're going to pay for that, right?
I would assume so. I don't think that it was never mentioned that we have Combat Pass 2 if we bought the damn $100 pack or $100 edition.
It's not clear.
Yep. So we have to pay for it. I won't be paying for it. Fuck them. They already pissed me off enough. But yeah, it'll be paid.
I'm saying, like, give people stuff like that. Like, you have high markers, you get a new stage. Granted, for DLC to work, you have to also be connected to Wi-Fi. Which sucks, but it's like, I mean, you gotta make sure you're able to play it, right?
Yeah.
Like, if it works, then you'll make sure you can do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. I don't like anything about the challenge towers, honestly. In Injustice 2, I didn't play them. Like, I played a bit of them, but I didn't enjoy them. In MK11, I got really bored of them really fast. I don't know. I don't like the system at all. Like, I don't think for me personally, there's no redeemable characteristics about it. So, I would just completely change that. Like a couple good prizes here and there, like you said, the Johnny Cage commentary, announcer voice, all that stuff. That's good, but 2 or 3 cool things don't really just counterbalance the amount of trash that gets thrown in there. Like, who really cares about these generic skins that will pop up over there every once in a while? Like, if you notice, like the interesting ones, like the Mandalorian skin, stuff like that, they know what they're doing. They put in skins that nobody really cares about in the challenge towers, and then if you want something, then you either have the time crystals saved up because you don't spend them like me, or guess what? You have to buy it. You know what I mean? So they know what they're doing. They're not stupid when it comes to that. So I would change that completely if I had my options. Yeah, I would go with more like a challenge tower type of thing because I really, really, really enjoyed that. Especially like I said, the more we move forward and the more we get these towers of time and stuff like that, the more I realize how much I like the challenge tower.
Right. I see what they're trying to do, but I'm okay with just like a Candy Crush aspect where it's like they make up more levels as they go. Or hell, I would even pay for a second challenge tower.
Yeah, hell yeah, man. That's good DLC. That's quality DLC. Give us a $5 challenge tower that comes out. I don't know.
I'll pay $30, really.
I don't know about 30, but I'd probably go up to 10, maybe 15.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But no, my point is though, I get it though because like they're making 100. Well, no, because they went off of the last one. Depending on how many they're making.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're making just 10 more challenges, then yeah, no more than $5, if even that.
Yeah, that's too much. Yeah.
If they're making like 100 or 200, even another 300, I can kind of see where the money is okay with. So they have to write out the script, they have to write out these codes, which I sort of like. I kind of get, but it's like, for example, one of the main ones that stick out to me every time is, and this is not number 300. This is, I'm not sure what number it was, but it's literally either Striker versus 3. I think it's Striker versus 3 Shao Kahns.
Yeah, I remember that one. That was a pain.
Now, if you don't play with Striker, then you're fucked. But that version of the game made it easier to actually get better characters than their story mode does, and that's the whole point of their story mode.
Yeah, and so, at least with Challenge Tower, it's a challenge, so you have to actually learn how to play them instead of just like doing those 1 or 2 moves.
Well, like for example, like there are some cases where they'll take off the arms.
Yeah.
And 98% of what you do with somebody is the arms. I think about it like this. Let's say even if MK, let's say we take Melina's arms away, even with her MKX movesets. No
Okay.
matter which one you pick, what variation. So almost everything she does involves the side. You can't throw a side without arms. The only one I can see, only variation you can kind of see her winning in is Ravenous when she has her teeth. But like I said, you lose the arms. There's nothing you can do. Like that's a challenge. You have to learn how to win without that.
Yeah. Learn how to play in ways you wouldn't normally do.
Yeah. Versus now, where it's just okay, we're gonna throw a bunch of modifiers out on the ground and you see what happens.
Yeah, which is garbage. Pure garbage.
I mean, hell, even like the rainbow combat was fun on MK 9. It was like, all right, so all they did is change the color of the blood. That's stupid. Then you start fighting, and see all the colors like fall around. Like, wow, that's actually really cool.
Because at least it looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know, man. Yeah, I can see that. Have DLC with towers, but like, it has to be a full tower, or at least a lot of challenges where I could see paying for that. I'd rather pay for that than pay for skins, for example. So I mean,
yeah.
Depending on the skins, I guess if it's like $5 for 20 skins, maybe, but it's not usually the way it is. So.
Well, like, for example, too, like I paid for I got a bunch of time crystals, just for the Mortal Kombat 2 skins. Because I really just want one for Katana and Jade, but like, well, I might as well get the whole trio thing as well. And it was just like, all right. And it wasn't like, oh, it's just the skin. No, you have to get the whole bundle pack to do it.
Yeah.
So you have to get the mask. You have to get a. The only you would need really is like a skin and mask. That's all you really need to make a classic version. They're like, oh, we're going to give you a skin, we're going to give you a mask, we're going to give you their weapon, and we're going to give you the... And they're going to give you those stuff, and like, all right, why do I need all of... Oh, and exit, or entrance one, intro or outro. But it's like, why do I need all this? I really just want the skin. Like, well, you kind of got to get all of them to get the skin. Like, well, that's bullshit, but here we go anyway. Here's my money.
Yep, I agree with you 100%, man. Let's just hope that they at least try to implement a couple of these ideas. Try maybe I guess our best hope is that they they're actually going to try to take into consideration a lot of the feedback because I think it's a pretty it's pretty much a general consensus that the way things are right now in terms of modes and the towers, stuff like that, it's just not really working. I think that's pretty clear. I don't think really anybody really plays them anyway. So I'm just hoping that they kind of look at that and go into it. But the biggest problem really is that there's so many just random people that go in, and most people aren't diehard fans, and they just kind of they show up for Joker. I've gotten so many comments from people saying like, "Oh, you're stupid for not wanting Joker. You're stupid for not wanting Spawn. You're stupid for not wanting Terminator." Like, dude, get the fuck out of here. Like, honestly, like, it's fine if you want it, but I mean, what I want is Mortal Kombat. I don't want Injustice 2 and Mortal Kombat and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? So hopefully, moving forward, they'll kind of go more towards pleasing people like me and you that have been there and will be there through thick and thin, as opposed to just kind of lining up their wallets to make as much money as possible. But yeah, I think I guess we can come to the conclusion that what we want to see is, alongside of course arcade mode, we want to see some modes that offer you a challenge, and then some that are just there for pure fun. And moving forward to online modes, I think for me, really, like, I don't play that much online, but the only thing that really got me really excited to play online in MK11 was the Combat League. I've mentioned this off air earlier. It's one of my favorite things about 2019 in Mortal Kombat is the fact that I had something to grind through. I had something that gave me rewards, and it gave me, a league, so to speak, that where I could see myself rising up the ranks, um, and experiencing tougher opponents, and just giving me that feeling of I'm actually playing through something instead of just like, oh, I'm gonna go do match after match after match without going up through a tier system and stuff like that. So I think give us some offline modes, or not offline, sorry, some non-competitive modes, like say King of the Hill, just the usual. Bring back the Combat League, but I think make it better. Give you better rewards, and just kind of incentivize you more to play it.
No, I agree. Like I said, I never was one for ranked play, and King of the Hill is fun if the gameplay is fun or the community is there. It has to be one or the other, because otherwise it's pretty boring, especially on Xbox. So we'll put it like that. I will say that.
Yeah.
But there's so many times I would go into a Discord and it's like, who has an Xbox and want to play online? They're like, everyone's there like, I got PlayStation, I got PlayStation, I got PlayStation. Like, well, shit, that sucks. And somebody even said one time, "Oh, wish you could like I'm finding someone to play," but yeah, everyone has PlayStation.
Pretty much.
Even with MK9, like, because occasionally you can still with that one, but you can play. I get why too, because on PlayStation 4, you can play on you play the same game on PlayStation 4, not to do much else with it. You can just play it as long as you're connected to the internet. Xbox, you have to get a whole different system, make sure that's hooked up, make sure it connects to the internet one way or another. Better to do a wired connection instead of wireless Wi-Fi, and hope you find somebody out there, because there's no one else hooking up their Xbox 360 just to play Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I mean that's unfortunate. That's a big problem for me too. Is apart from you, I don't have any friends that play on Xbox, and I don't really know anybody who plays Mortal Kombat in general except for you, I guess. That's kind of a big thing. That's a big issue over here with Italy. It's not really popular around here, so it is what it is. But yeah, I have the same issue where it does take me a little bit of time to get on matches if I don't want to play something that's just pure ranked. Yeah, but I mean, in terms of an alternative to say King of the Hill, what kind of mode would you like to see? I guess would you like to see like a Mortal Kombat type of thing online too?
Yeah. Like I said, the only problem with that I can see as well, the big issue is like with Xbox, you can have, I know, well, with all games pretty much, you can have up to 8 people playing at once. If one of them have a really bad lag connection, then you're fucked.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it depends, I guess, because the games with with the more functional servers, they usually have it to where if your connection is shit, then you're the one that's gonna feel it. Especially in like racing games, something like that. I guess in games where it's like Halo and stuff like that. Shooters where it's you literally trying to kill them and stuff like that. It's a bit more of an issue, but in something like Mortal Kombat, you're just kind of racing against them, so you don't have to necessarily have perfect connection to them. But usually in some of the higher level games, not counting sports games, because if you've played 2K, you know how awful their servers are. NBA 2K. It's not peer to peer. It's not like my connection and your connection to the server. Like we're connected to each other. It's more like each person has their connection to the server, and it'll lag for them, not the other ones. But the problem is, I don't think that Warner Brothers actually has that kind of servers. So I think it would be peer to peer, and that would be a problem. So either they're gonna have to have a major upgrade in their servers, or it's just not really doable, like you said.
Yeah.
So I guess we'd have to see. But yeah, I don't really have too much to say about online modes other than you know what I pretty much already said.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much you hit all cylinders on that one for me too.
Yeah.
Like I said, I do like the Combat League, but it's pretty much like they're fucking people. Well, firstly, you don't keep your rank. That's one thing.
Yeah.
League to league, and also, if you stop playing for more than 2 hours or so, they start diminishing your rank as well.
That's what really bothered me.
So they take away the prizes you already pretty much got. You have to keep playing.
Yeah. 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 Like I'm used to every week you start off from scratch. Now there are a lot of games like Magic Arena and stuff like that where depending on where you finish, you will start up in a higher rank next time. So you don't have to start from bronze. You don't have to start from the lowest tier. You start from a higher tier. But yeah, the whole if you don't play, you're gonna lose points. That's completely unacceptable. That's completely unacceptable. I have no idea who came up with that idea, but it's just yeah, it's kind of like a big fuck you to the fans, to the people that are playing it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I guess that's kind of the way online competitive is. I guess they try to make sure that they have you constantly playing it. But I'm not gonna do that. I don't have time to do that either. So yeah. Anyway, so let's go ahead and move on to I think something that a lot of people kind of consider to be synonymous with Mortal Kombat at this point, which is the crypt. So what do you want to see in the crypt in MK12? Or do you want to see a crypt in MK12?
I do want to see a crypt, that's for sure. I want to see it done better because, as we were talking about, we're going through two different ideas what to talk about today. And the crypt this time was very fun. Go through Shang Tsung's Island for the first time. It was really fun. But as we completed it, there's nothing left. There's not unless they're invisibly adding more stuff to it. But to me, I feel like this crypt was a lot smaller than any other one we ever had, besides the 3D era ones. So I want to see one that's bigger and not to say stakes, because the jump scares get boring after a while. After you know how to do it, but at least make it bigger and give us more things to work with.
Yep, I agree. Make it. Yeah, make it like really really big, and I don't know, like kind of make it. I guess they kind of did a good job with MKX and MK11 in terms of how it does kind of feel like it's its own world, it's its own mode. But yeah, like imagine if they could find a way to implement kind of like how Deception was, like you know having different layers being in different realms. You know how like in MK9 they had what was it, the Dead Marsh or something like that, and they had like four different sections.
Yeah.
Imagine if each instead of having different like sections where they just kind of look aesthetically different, they're actually in different realms. So they can have the Earth realm, another realm. Maybe Earth realm is the Wushu Academy or something like that.
So wait, are you saying you're talking about the crypt
The crypt, yeah, the crypt.
on Deception, or like just
No, no,
in
I'm
general
no,
Deception?
no, no. I mean like in conquest mode, where you go to different realms. I mean like maybe actually have the crypt actually
Yeah,
be different realms.
represent certain parts. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, that'd be pretty cool. And
You know,
if
you can let me do a lot of fan service with this crypt, Goro's lair, a bunch of that, but I feel like it was still like too small. Like you hit everywhere. You hit everywhere in about an hour, really.
pretty much, yeah,
Now, like I said, if the crypt was ever changing, like so on this day this week you can go to get things from this realm. Like you said, different realms for it. You can go like this week. This whole month all about Earthrealm. So do whatever you can from here. Because at the end of the month, you gotta wait till it refreshes until it goes to the next one.
mm-hmm.
And then it can be like our world and India, NetherRealm, Chaos, Dream World, just whatever they want. But it's different every time, so you don't know what to expect.
Yeah.
And if you miss like if there's like a secret area that you didn't know about, then you miss out until it comes back around again, the cycle.
Yeah, I get what you're saying. Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah, I think like one thing that I really think is important about the upcoming crypts is they have to go away from the RNG aspect of it. Like, I think it's really, really important that if you don't want any spoilers and you want to experience the crypt for yourself, you can absolutely go around and unlock things at your own pace and do whatever you want and not know where anything is. But if you want to know exactly where, Noob Saibot second fatality is, you should be able to go online, find, look it up and find it. Basically, because somebody else already found it and is listing off where they are. I absolutely think that's something that has to be a must because it's been like that forever, and
Mm-hmm.
I I think you see the backlash from it. RNG, it's really really bullshit, and most importantly, absolutely fundamental. Do not have so many random items that are like consumables for towers and stuff like that. That is an absolute disgrace and an absolute no. We need only fun things in there. Like cooking with Scorpion 2, or, really good costumes, or stages, or music, or things that we actually want to see. Not bullshit consumables and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So basically, just give us just give us the exploration of the recent games, plus the more classic style. So I think that's just kind of mix them together, and you'll get a really good crypt.
And the other thing just to keep in mind as well, um, yeah, we can like I said, it doesn't be like a whole world like how Deception was like a whole Earth realm and you
Yeah.
go everywhere. Trust me, that thing was way too big. I still think I hit every area in that game. I never unlocked everything,
Mm-hmm.
but um, I will say that it will be more better if, like I said, have the stages be in a 3D aspect. You walk around those.
Yeah.
So also, I think I'm just tired of. We'll get to that one, the what we don't want list, I guess. But um, so for example, Cola's dungeon in this game on how they have an MK11,
Yeah.
that could be a crypt area.
Absolutely.
The area of that, and there could be little parts down in the bottom of it, and you can maybe you can go upstairs to the top layer and see what the Coliseum looks like, but it doesn't have to be a whole world either, like I said, and like have huts and stuff like that. I feel like the crypt should it has to be exploring part of it, but it should also be like the reward part of the game where you get to get stuff that you deserve or you work for the entire playing the game for.
Yeah, that'd be pretty cool actually. How yeah, like you can actually like walk around the area where the arena actually is in.
Mm-hmm.
That'd be cool. That'd be very cool. And they could all be connected to like portals and stuff like that.
Yep,
That'd be
that
cool.
or even hell, like just watching like like fights go in the background. Well, that's really what they want to do. It's like, well, we can't do that without this. Like, well, you've done it before with the MK9 pick, where you have four different people fighting each other.
Yep.
So just have that on, have those people like fight in the same fight in a loop.
Exactly. Yeah, you can do a lot. You can do a lot of it. Yeah. I guess a lot of it also has to do with you know, how good the new technology is. I mean, moving on, where there's no doubt that the next Mortal Kombat game is going to be probably 4 or 5 years away. And by then, the new consoles, the new PlayStation, the new Xbox, they'll be very much about midway through their cycle. So you would expect to be able to see, or at least at least a quarter of the way, depending on how fast they actually turn this game around. I don't think it's going to be too soon, but you know, it depends on what they can do with the new tech. I think that the possibilities based on what's been rumored is pretty much endless, and it's just a matter of how much time Warner Brothers is actually going to give them to make a game. Because as we saw with MK11, the biggest problem really is that they weren't ready to release it. The game was far from 100%, completed. So that's why the DLC is taking forever, and that's why we have so many issues. And the most important thing, I guess, for MK12 is that they give them the time to really make the game, and not just have portions of it that are incomplete or broken, or having to scramble as hard as they can to do things like the DLC last minute. But yeah, man, like if they do that and they give them time to make a good crypt, then I think they could definitely and they take some of our feedback, not just mine and yours. They probably won't even hear ours, but I think it's kind of like a general consensus among the community that these are things that we want to see changed, and if they do that, then they'll make a lot of people happy. But as we've seen with Fujin and so many others, they don't really care too much about what we say.
Yep.
But that will leave that negativity for a different day. Well, I guess not really, because we're about to talk about the things that we don't want to see. Mm-hmm. So you kind of brought this idea up earlier on. I don't necessarily have too much that I don't want to see. I don't have too many limitations, except for Darius, Dairu, and Suhao, unless they really make them cool. Well, go ahead. You talk about some of the things you don't want to see.
So I think I would, for starters, want to take up the whole concept of Chronica.
Fair play. That's a good start.
Well, just because I feel like they could have done so much more with her, which is good, but the only way I can see this being better is if they have somebody who actually cares about the product overseeing the game, overseeing the writing at least. Because nothing against Dominic or Sean, but I really just, there are two people who I've heard very little about, and they just wrote a bunch of bullshit, I feel like, at some points.
Yeah. It's kind of rushed now
it. Let's see. We have a suicidal Cyrax. We have an evil queen. We can't seem to let Liu Kang just die. Well, that's not on them, but still.
Mm-hmm.
I just feel like that we need someone who actually either cares or just a whole new writing staff. And make sure those people still care. Like, a prime example is, like you said, Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
And I know a lot about Game of Thrones. I really don't. But one thing that I do know is that J.J.R. Martin was not going to let them do the show until they passed the test. Like, all right, pretty much how much have you actually done your research on this? Are you going to just make things look like shit or not?
Yeah, and most importantly, like he was supervising up until the point where they actually had to make up their own stuff, because of course they ran past where the books are.
Yeah, and hell, I say either bring back Tobias or let Vogel be back where he on the film again and actually oversee it.
Yeah, I agree 100%. Fix it.
It's like WWE, for example. Before, where they used to only have just 1 or 3 writers, now they have over 600 or over 100 now, and they put out a show every week still.
Yeah, because none of them are capable.
They can do good storylines. And before, these people were like professional writers. These people who are doing it now. Yeah, they went to school for writing. And they can't write a good story.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I guess times have kind of changed for the WWE. I haven't watched in a while. It's been 7 years, probably 6, 7 years. But I do know that it's gone pretty bad from what I have seen. So, Mortal Kombat's kind of going down that route, or I guess it kind of it's already been there for a while now. But you kind of just had me think of something. Just kind of going a bit of a tangent real fast. Like we were mentioning earlier, how imagine if Infinity War ended with Thanos losing. Well, I think they kind of had an option right there with MK11 to kind of do that. Chronica was this being that's supposed to be more powerful than the Elder God, supposed to be, this insanely powerful. Not even a deity. She's beyond that. She can do whatever the fuck she wants. Basically, that's how strong she is. So they had the opportunity to have her win, and then have the stakes go really, really high for the next game, and then really have this just huge ending for the saga. But they just she popped out of nowhere. She looked like she was powerful at first, but then she gets just completely obliterated. So it's like, oh look, all of a sudden Liu Kang becomes a god. Well, that's a easy way to end it. But
she came, she saw, she got conquered.
Yep, exactly. So that's their biggest problem, I think, is that they don't really give these characters enough time to really develop, especially the villains, and they don't give them, an opportunity to really show what they are. Like, you see like Darkseid in the DC universe, he does some crazy shit, and they gave him time to develop, so he's the big bad in the universe. They don't have anybody more kind of like that.
So the last time they did a reboot, they left it on a huge cliffhanger. We didn't know really what happened. Besides Taven, we thought Taven killed Blaze, but we don't know what happened after that, really.
Exactly.
Now, at least for this one, we had 3 potential endings. We had either Raiden and Liu Kang changing the world. We have Kitana and Liu Kang changing the world. Or we could have let Chronica get what she wanted and let her make her new world. And I would hate either one of those in the reboot, regardless.
Yeah, none of those. Yeah.
But for example, though, now you know that if you lose, it doesn't count. That makes you fight again. So that's what I mean by I want stakes in there. For example, is if I lose, I want there to be a consequence for losing.
Exactly, like you legit. Maybe you have like 3 attempts. If you don't beat her on the 3rd attempt, guess what? She actually wins. Like, have that a possibility.
Not only that, you always replay the story. I get that part, but I'm saying, for example, you lose, like that's over. The credit scene starts. And like, they're not saying that should be every fight as well either. Like, I'm not gonna say like, oh, if Katana loses to Baraka, well, she dies immediately. That's in the story because she was so affected in that story. No. But let's say Katana lost to Shao Kahn. Shao Kahn then kills everyone there, and then he helped lead Karnaka's army to victory.
Yeah.
None of this double cross, like, oh, I thought I killed Katana, Liu Kang, and everyone else. I had to go kill a Titan as well, and now I'm the master of time. No, like, legit, like, all right, I'm trusting you, so let's do it.
Yeah, I agree 100% with you.
Or it's like Sonya died when she fought Kano. I'm not sure why they had Gears Fleet come to that point anyway. It was just an extra fight. But if she would have lost to Kano, then he would have killed her, and you watch her and Cassie die.
Yeah. That would have been a cool moment.
Exactly.
Yeah, but they played it safe.
There's actual stakes to this thing.
Yep. Yeah, well, they need to take risks. That's basically what the bottom line is. Don't play it safe. I think that's kind of the main thing. Don't play it safe.
Like, if you suck at the game, well, you die and the story moves over for you until you get better. And you can always pick up from right there, but that means by the time the credit scene starts, or there's a different and I'm not saying, like, don't say beating every fight, but make it like the fights that matter.
Yeah.
So, let's say you beat Sub-Zero on the 3rd chapter. Then he pretty much turns Kuai Ling to being actual Cybot.
Yeah.
Because he said Kuai Ling is his little brother, so he's always in his big brother's shadow. Now he's literally going to be in his brother's shadow.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you, man. Like, those would be huge moments, like we were saying. Like, have the stakes in there, and that would give a lot of differentiation between my game and yours. Like, maybe I beat him, you don't. So, certain or vice versa. So, I mean, yeah, those are all good things and good ideas, and Just hope that they implement some of them.
Mhm.
Any other don't wants?
Um,
I don't really think I have any off the top of my head right now.
I
Um,
don't want the gameplay to be like this game again.
okay, fair play.
Now that's just cheap right there. I'm gonna be honest. Like just like a cheap code. I didn't think of nothing else right now. But I don't want them to. Um, but this. Let's be honest. Like, how much time did you play MKX afterwards?
What do you mean, the story mode or what?
In general, how many times did you play
Oh,
MKX after it came out?
not really, not very much. It didn't last long for me.
See, that one did last for long enough for me. Like we played that every time. The gameplay was fun, and like one of my closest friends here, he was able to make new combos all the time, where I couldn't. But you can make new combos all the time though with this one, that one.
Yeah,
This one, it's like you're very limited almost,
it's pre-made combos. Yeah,
pretty much.
yeah. Like how it was in the 3D era, you know? Yeah,
Yeah, I mean, like you can still put things together and like chain them together, but it's like it's not the same.
yeah.
Like the only thing I really noticed that's different, maybe that's just me too, is that the run button's gone. And anybody who use the run button, I can tell like the difference in the gameplay. So there's something else different in general, other than the way you play. Because trying to go back to play MKX now is like almost impossible, dude.
Yeah, I did that recently, actually. A couple weeks ago, I think 3 weeks ago, maybe. I played a few games. Actually, about an hour of it at the game store near here, and yeah, it was weird. But I don't. Yeah, I kind of agree with you there. I think I liked the gameplay from this one from MK11 more than MKX, but I do think that yeah, it is a lot more limited. The only thing that saves me from feeling that is the fact that I am very uncreative with combos, so I end up just always using the same thing over and over again anyway. But I could definitely see how
Mm-hmm.
that's a problem. Yeah, I could definitely see that. But yeah, I mean, like I don't really have any don'ts, except for yeah, don't play it safe and don't retell the same thing again. Um,
Yeah.
yeah, I think those are kind of my two baseline rules. So yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say for now. Of course, for our ideal MK12, we'll kind of touch back up
Don't
on
be
it once we
stupid,
get
I
into
guess.
what.
Don't make stupid decisions though either.
Well, of course, yeah, but that's gonna
Well, I
happen.
mean, I know that in general. What I mean by that though is like don't half-ass it. I guess. So I guess go back to like don't play it
Mm,
safe. Like don't just do a trial thing with one person, then another person, and everyone's like no, like go full balls to the wall.
yeah,
Like, we have all these costumes and all these um skins, for example. We can need to put them more effectively.
mm-hmm,
So I'm saying maybe put um you can have an evil queen Sindel. You can have a um original Sindel, a revenant Sindel. Do all those things, for example, and like do like Crisis on Infinite Earth did, and like pretty much merge them into each other, pretty much. Or
yeah,
no, I think that was Birth that did more like that, where like they actually, like, for example, Superman, he's pretty much like he's a Superman from the '52 era, but they also like clashed him in with something different as well. I had to read more into that again, but he has a family as well. So it's like they just add they took some of this they take some of the best things from each character and put it into one.
mm-hmm,
That would be like the best way to like in the story mode. Not even with the saying, "Oh, we're doing a new reboot." You can still do that, or hell, you can continue this one. Like I said, my oh for this is my biggest thing. I always feel like don't make pointless DLC. Like the guest characters, I get that they have no role in this, but if you're like the game wasn't ready, so we should have just been okay with waiting a little bit longer.
I would have been no problem. Yeah,
But what I'm saying is like we had Because I didn't go back and listen, but I know we had this talk before where it's like, I really feel like they're not going to put such and such in the story mode. Like, yeah, they're doing Shao Kahn, but I just don't want to like do Sing Song, for example, and
Yeah,
he's not have a wrong story.
he's just kind of thrown in there out of nowhere.
Exactly. They did
Yeah,
it because of money value.
that's a very very solid way to end it. I think is the biggest thing, the most important thing is don't just look at the money. Make a game for the fans, not just doing whatever is going to make you the most money. Of course, we know that's not going to happen, but you know,
Well, you still make money off it, but still put them in the game.
yeah, exactly. But I mean, like, don't do microtransactions. Don't do things that are going to make you the most money in cheap ways. Earn that money by giving us a great game. I
Exactly.
have absolutely no problem buying DLC if the game is worth it. Absolutely no problem. So I think that's a pretty solid way to end it, man. You nailed
Yep.
it, and yeah, great. So any closing statements, or are you good?
No, I'm good now.
All right, sweet, man. So that's another episode in the books. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know I was excited about doing this one, so we finally got it out there. It's been on our plate for a while, and it's good to just have this one done, and we can move on to a couple other things. The next episode is going to be basically us talking about our top 5 moments slash storyline slash whatever the hell from 2019 when it comes to Mortal Kombat. So you can expect that coming out pretty soon. So guys, thank you so much for listening, and we'll see you in the next episode.
Later.
See you guys.